isn't the video that I was going to do today because I mistakenly left my notes and outline in somebody's car. So I'm not going to be able to do that. I'll have to change my agenda. But what I did want to talk about is something that's been bothering me because I keep reading newspaper stories and seeing videos about different situations where this has happened. And what I want to talk about is black men's failure to protect and the actual predatory nature that is being exhibited socially over the last 10 years. Now, this is something I think for especially for women and teenage girls that live in areas that are largely populated by black men. You better be careful and you better figure out what you're going to do to help protect yourself, because if you depend on these men to help protect you, you're going to be ass out. Now let's go over some of this and what happened. Now, I'm going to start by sharing a story with you that happened. This was way back in the late 80s. I was dating this guy from Texas, and we had spent the day in downtown. I mean, not downtown, out in the Haight-Ashbury area, which is like at the time it was the up and coming little shopping area with, the little hip restaurants and the hip little shops and all this kind of stuff. So I had taken him there because he came in from Texas, and we were, I was been the tour guide showing him around. So we were in my car, and he was in the passenger seat, and we're driving down Haight Street going back to my place. And we had to stop at this red light right at the corner, actually, of Haight and Ashbury. And there's 2 lanes of traffic going. Well, it was like a lane of traffic and on each side, and plus the lane of parked cars. So, like 4 lanes altogether. So I'm sitting there. We had the windows down and everything because it's the summertime and it was warm. And all of a sudden, we could hear this woman screaming, right? So we turn and we look. For me, it was off to my left, and right on the corner of Haight and Ashbury. There's this brother. This brother had to be at least 200 pounds, and he was pummeling on this woman like there was nobody's business. And she screaming and saying, "Help me, help me." And before I was like, man, did you see that? Before I could even finish the sentence, dude had jumped out of the car. And since there was traffic, everybody was stopped because it was red light. He hopped over the hood of my car and over the car next to that, darted through those parked cars and snatched that dude and threw him up against the wall. And he was like right in his face saying, "Man, you want to hit somebody? Hit me, motherfucker, hit me." Now, this dude was built, and he was 6'2". I used to not really date little dudes, even though I'm not that big myself. I used to like big, muscular, tall, and I just like dudes that was cut and built. So that he fit that bill. And this dude, the one who was pounding on the woman, he made like he was going to swing or something. And then I guess he could see that, he was going to be in for a scrap if he kept it up. So he just turned and just walked off. So, my dude helped the woman up, and he brought her to my car, and he was asking me, can we take her to the nearest emergency room? I mean, she was bleeding a little bit, but not so much I was like worried about my car or anything. So there was one not too far away, a hospital called St. Luke's. So I knew where that was not too far from where I lived at the time. And so I drove her, we dropped her off there, took her in, explained what had happened, and then we left and went back to the house. So now what I need to circle back, though, that's how it ended. But while we were getting to the car, there was people that were smiling and clapping and thanking him and saying, "Yeah, man," and stuff like that. And the look on his face, though, was utter disgust. And there was these 3 dudes that was standing there, 2 white dudes and a black dude. They was all friends. And they were standing there on the corner where it went down. And he was just stopped, and he said, "You motherfuckers could have done the same thing." And he was right, because it was 3 of them, and it was only 1 of him. And the 3 of them just stood there like cowards, just watching this poor little woman. And she was little. I mean, she was smaller than me because, he and I used to run and lift weights and stuff. So I, had my buff of my own. But this woman was like a little skinny little thing. If she weighed 100 pounds, it was a miracle. And so this man was just pummeling her on her like there was no tomorrow. Now, the reason why I wanted to say this is because the trend lately is for men to not do anything. When they see a woman getting assaulted, they're more likely to stop and film it. They want to put it on some website. They want to put it on Facebook. You can hear them laughing and jeering and, cheering the dude on that's beating on the woman. And I don't understand that. In some other videos, the guy might step in to help the woman, but they wait until after she's already been knocked unconscious or after she's already bleeding. And it's like they start to feel guilty, I guess. I don't know what's going on, why they waited so long. And then they finally step forward and do something. Now, there was a video that circulated some years ago. I think it was like maybe 2017. I remember seeing it. But anyway, somebody had filmed this whole video, this woman getting knocked out on the street in Philadelphia. And this man was beating this woman like there was no tomorrow. And he would just beat her, and it's like people was like standing, coming up, didn't close up views and everything, and it's like whoever filmed from the back showed the other people filming. You see what I mean? So this person was back further, and you could see the men of all races just standing around watching this dude wail on this poor woman, and she was on the ground, and they're like, one guy was, like I said, he was like only a few feet away from the dude. He could have just bum rushed the dude and knocked him down or something. But he didn't do anything. He just did everything. He kind of calmly walked back across the street to stand with the other people and to watch this woman continue to get beat. They say that this beating went on for 20 minutes. Not one person bothered to call the police. Even two people drove by in cars, which are visible on the video that this faraway person was filming. And nobody called the police to help this woman. She was getting her ass kicked for 20 minutes. She could have died right there on the street. And I mean, this dude was just wailing on her. Just beating her like into the ground. It was insane to watch this thing. It was so sick. I couldn't watch it enough to get an idea what was going on, but then I had to stop. Now, this other case in Philly seemed like a bad spot if you were a woman, because these people don't know. So this woman, she's just walking down the street, right? This dude knocks her out. She got robbed. People who were like, she just walked up to her and hit her and knocked her out. Okay, so now other people who were watching her get knocked out, they saw her get knocked out, robbed her while she's unconscious, and then they were taking pictures of her body laying there, and they're taking selfies with her, all knocked out and stuff, grinning in the pictures. Okay, now I'm saying all this. These are real things that actually happened. Okay, these are real stories covered in newspapers, in magazines like the New York Post, the Philadelphia Eagle, or whatever, some Philadelphia newspaper. This kind of stuff. There's videos of this kind of stuff all over the internet that happened in different cities across the country. In Manhattan, people have watched people get stabbed in the Bronx. In Cleveland, Texas, you remember what happened there about the little 11-year-old girl and all them black dudes that had her in that cabin thing. And there was another video I remember seeing some years ago. This rapper was at a girl's house, and she asked him and his crew to leave, and they didn't want to. So not only did he start touching her body in a very sexual manner in a way that she did not want, he threatened to shoot her, he threatened to beat her down, and him and his crew was filming all this, right? And they're just laughing, and they didn't do anything to stop him. The people that in the house that tried to come to the woman's aid were other women. It wasn't them. So, I'm saying all of this because what I want you guys to understand is that you are under siege. This is a war. Women have to understand what's going on a large scale. This kind of stuff is happening all over the world. Like in India, someone was tied to a tree and beaten and everything because her husband said, that she had done something that he didn't approve of. So he strips her naked and beats her ass and stuff and ties her to a tree until she's dead. And nobody stopped that either. So people keep acting like. But then you talk about also, with the abductions of young teenage girls, and they're never seen again. All of this put together is there's something going on in the minds of men. I don't know what to tell you that it is, but there is a sickness, and it seems to be driven by testosterone because they're all nutty as a fruitcake. This is not even normal behavior by any stretch of the imagination. How is it that men who have been trained and socialized to protect women, to protect children, to make sure that they are safe and well cared for and all stuff. Where did they lose that? And it becomes this predatory victimization kind of plan instead. See, I don't know. I'm not a sociologist. I don't haven't studied the transitions in humankind and all this stuff and the impact of all these different things. But what is so amazing to me is, I'm not even, I don't call myself a Christian. Okay, I do not. But even I know that there's different parts of the Bible, like, you know, if anyone says, I love God and hates his brother, he's a liar. For he who's not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. And this commandment we have from him, whoever loves God must also love his brother. Okay, which we could translate to be his sister. And what good is it if someone says he has faith but he does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, go in peace, be warmed and filled, without giving them the things that they need for that body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Okay, it's dead. And these are the men who swear up and down that they believe in Allah. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus. Where are they works that's backing that up? Every time you turn around, they're doing something that's more in line with that other dark place that everybody says is a complete opposite of, heaven. So I'm like I said, this is not necessarily what I believe in, but if these people say that they believe in this thing, this entity, this lifestyle, this practice, where are they doing that? Where is that being proven? Okay, so this all ties in with what I was going to talk about today, which is how you have to not only pay attention to what a man says, but what he does. Are his actions being backed up? Or his words rather being backed up by his behavior and his actions? Is he just talking talk, or is he walking a walk that matches the talk that he talks? And you ladies have to start being more in tune to watching what they do and how they treat other people, and the kinds of things that they think are funny, the kinds of things, that stories that they want to tell and that get them excited and gleeful. If you have a man who thinks this kind of shit like that is funny, a story he wants to repeat, something he wants to have on his phone and show other people, he gets a great joy out of uploading the victimization of defenseless women and children to a website. You have a sociopath. That's what you have. I don't give a fuck if it is the daddy of your children. You had kids by a sociopath. He is a nut. Okay, and them genes are going to be passed on to the children that you all had. This is just really not funny. So, I say this as a woman to men and woman raising son. Any black male that is not part of the solution of violence against women is a part of the problem. Understand me. You can't be both, and you cannot be neutral. You either part of the problem or you part of the solution. If you're not telling other brothers to stop acting a fool like that, if you're not trying to get them in line to get back to their roots and protect, if you're not saying nothing and laughing and filming it and stuff, you are just as bad as the ones who are doing it. You don't get a pass. You get put in the same kind of knucklehead, dusty ass motherfucker category as they are. And if you see somebody that's victimizing a child or a woman and you don't do nothing to intervene, you don't do nothing to even get them help, you don't call 911, use your phone to call 911 instead of using your phone to film it, you don't do nothing but to laugh at it, and you show it, you want to film it so your boys can see it later, and you're just as guilty as the perpetrator of the crime. So, you don't do nothing to change the outcome of these kind of vicious acts of men towards women and children. Then to me, that makes you an accomplice to the crime, and it also makes you a piece of shit. That's what I got to say on this topic. I'll be back tomorrow with some more good stuff. We'll be picking up with What the Fuck Tuesday tomorrow, and then I will play catch up and do the video that I was supposed to do on another day. But I hope this gives you guys, ladies, something to think about. A lot of you want to have this thing where, I don't want, we can't think of all black men like that. I don't want the police to put another black man in prison, this and that. You better think about what kind of mentality it is with the dudes that you're dealing with. Okay, that's because they don't do something criminal to you does not mean that they haven't done it to somebody else. And that still means that the man that you fucking, the man you having a child with, the man that you married to, dating and loving is a piece of shit. Because nobody who is a decent human being would treat somebody else like this. This is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.